Not too much.
Yeah, that's better. Hello, friends. Welcome to Talking with Trans People. My name's host Eric, and let me tell you a little something about what I did today. In case you're worried about buffering, in case you're worried about dropped internet or whatever. Well, my dad had a Wi-Fi modem from 1842. It's kind of an early model of Wi-Fi modem. Anyway, it finally died today. Just completely died. Like the lights wouldn't turn on anymore when you plugged it in. So can you close that door too? Thanks. What did I do? I went to Spectrum and I traded it in for one that works, right? So now it's a much newer modem. Should be much better, I would hope. And hi, King Krishna.
Hey! I think it's been a bit. Hey, Octavio Silva.
Hi, Octavio Silva.
Nice,
hi, Angin's here.
Nice hammer, the screw thing. I forget what it's called. Wrench.
Hammer screw thing. AKA wrench. So I want to talk about cognitive functions, typology and stuff tonight. I'd like to try to stay on topic a bit because obviously there's a need for accurate information out there. I had a little bit of fun today making C.S. Joseph videos, which is always fun because he's both like, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, but he's also like, 5 times as big as me. So
that says a lot about the world. Can I just tell you? There are a lot of stupid ass people. I'm calling you out. You're stupid. You're paying $600 to this guy? He looks like a fucking hack. He's so manicured.
Now, me, I'm worth $600.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
He'll actually ask a lot of questions to get to it.
And if you're going to pay me $600, assuming Rachel's okay with it, I will also show you my butt crack.
Yeah, I would be.
For $600.
Yeah. I mean, it's only a butt crack.
Right. So, I will see us just to do that for you.
Yeah, you want to...
We'll
you can even take a picture, a snapshot of.
Yeah.
I mean,
take a screenshot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will C.S. Joseph show you his butt crack for $600? I don't think so.
We'll take quarters. Why don't you just go to the bank first, though, and then get them in dollars, or make a check.
If you want to mail us $600 in quarters,
that's true.
That's fine, but you get the whole crack for $600.
No, whole crack.
You can't get the cheeks though. It's gonna be like I have a strip of bareness just down the crack. Cheeks are extra. Cheeks are not the 400. You want the cheeks. Rachel's pimping me out, so you have to talk to her.
Well, whatever you're comfortable with. You have to write a contract, I guess.
Listen, if you're comfortable with showing parts of me for money, then I'm assuming it's okay. What if you can only afford one cheek? Ignoring TE is really weird. Let's start there with the topic of the cognitive functions.
So who has ignoring TE?
That's a TI DOM. It's INTP or ISTP.
INTP, ISTP?
Yeah.
So are they less concerned about what's going on the outside? Like, they don't, like, external things don't really, like, what is that?
Yes, I am right, Octavia. So, TE, ignoring, it's like NI ignoring or NE ignoring. The thing about ignoring is it's actually a very powerful absolute value for you. So, for example, the truth is probably my most absolute value. And ultimately, that's probably going to be the case for most ENTPs. Whereas for INFJs, what's really the absolute value is interestingness.
So they're boring?
INFJs, the ultimate crime is being boring.
INFJ?
To INFJ, the ultimate crime is being boring and doing something that's been done before and it's just like not resonant and doesn't NI pop at all, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing about that is that's an absolute value of NE, whereas I have an absolute value of NI. So I get upset when people aren't impacted by my truths, as I think they should. Yes, it should fix it.
Yeah, it should. So, okay, when you're saying that, so I'm sorry, could you say that again? Because it made me think of your dad.
My dad's TI ignoring. Now, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned my dad because you want to talk about a bit of a contradiction. I found out today. I did not know this. I was under the impression for my whole life that my dad had a doctorate in education. He doesn't. His doctorate is in philosophy. He got a doctorate in philosophy. He's a TE dom. I'm currently getting my life doctorate in NI. It's what I'm doing all the time. I'm chasing NI.
So originality?
No, NI is truth, singularity, synergy, holistic truths that can't be deconstructed by a TI. But at the same time, my actual willful nature is to always come up with other possibilities. In other words, to destabilize the singularity of truths, to try to find ways in which it's not determinate. Something else might be determinate. But the only reason that I do that is because ultimately I'm agreeing that things sometimes are determinate and sometimes aren't. And then when I find the thing that's determinate, that I create myself or mix up between, a couple of different things, mix them together and get my truth, that it has the impact it's supposed to have. As an NE Dom, I'm a talker by nature, and I want my talking to be heard and impactful. Nothing makes me angrier when people won't listen to my words or ignore me or something, because they're saying basically your dominant nature, your form of action that you rely on to do everything in life and to make progress and accomplish shit is not, I'm going to be unimpacted by it. Why do I yell at people? It's like somebody came up to you and pushed you and you just stood there and were unimpacted by it, it would shock you. If somebody came up and kicked you or stabbed you and you acted as though you were not impacted at all, it would shock you. Same thing with me. When I go up and tell somebody the truth, it shocks me when they're not impacted by it and appalls me.
So what are they ignoring?
Well, they're probably, it depends. But the thing is, like, my dad's ignoring TI, but he got a doctorate in philosophy. I'm ignoring NI, but I'm always carrying on about the truth. Rachel's ignoring NE, but she thinks I'm like, like she finds me very attractive.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't have a doctorate in psychology. He has a doctorate in philosophy. Did I say psychology? Yeah, I meant to say philosophy.
Yeah, philosophy. You're really bugged out by that today.
It's freaking me out.
Wait, who told you though?
I found his doctorate in here.
No, I was with you. I remember.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to find out where did you get this idea that he was a teacher in education?
I believed it since I was a kid. I think I asked my mom one time. She told me.
Oh, that's funny.
But I really don't know exactly. Like, when someone is being deceitful or manipulative or dishonest, might as well slap me in the face. And that typically goes along with NFJs in general.
And I will say that in modern day colleges, I don't know about when your dad went, but mostly in universities, philosophy, see, I can't even say it. Philosophy and psychology are two different majors.
Right. Philosophy is a hard science. Psychology is a soft science. People don't think of philosophy as a hard science, but it is.
It's very difficult. Never would have.
I don't mean difficult. It's a hard science. Like, it's it requires precision, and scientists understand philosophy as a science. It's only lay people who don't understand it as such.
Hi, everyone.
Music can be mathematical. Philosophy is a hard science. Yeah, it is. It's where science gets its, especially nowadays, right? So, like, okay, well, remember, philosophy is discovered discovered the quantum world well before science did.
I'm going to school people. Philosophy is in liberal arts. Liberal arts. It's part of the humanities, but
you're correct. You do not get a BS in philosophy. That's true. What I'm saying is it's a hard science in the sense that it's actually concerned with explaining things. Whereas psychology doesn't know what it's doing. Sometimes it's explaining things, sometimes it's treating people, sometimes it's yada, yada, yada. Pathologizing. No, I won't be offering Jeebus free typing. The thing is, a lot of people would disagree with me, right? And they say, no, philosophy is not a science. Except that's because you're not understanding what a science is. What do you think physics is? An explanation of how the grammar of the physical world works. And what do you think metaphysics is? An explanation of the grammar of how the conditional world works. And it's not subjective at all, Baroji. That's absolutely wrong. There are, as in science, there are sometimes competing explanations for things, but one of them withstands scrutiny over time and becomes the standard. As with science, oh, I see. Okay, you're fine. I mean, I would say it's more complex, but not more difficult necessarily. It depends on your kind of thinking you do. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It is interesting. I mean, like, I just think of, like, I never wanted to take, I always thought that a philosophy class would be interesting to take, but that I would never want to take it because it's really diving deep into, like, these abstract theories that kind of we use almost every day. My mom's chilling. My mom's good. Thank you for asking. It is mentally complex. That's why I never wanted to take it because I don't know. Do they talk about Plato and Marcus Aurelius? That sort of.
I mean, it's like you might read Plato, you might read like Aristotle or whatever, but I guess you don't read Socrates, but you read about him. The thing is, it's not so much the old school philosophers, although those are worth learning, and a lot of that shit still has a lot of resonance.
Yeah.
But it's about understanding, ultimately, philosophy cracked the code on the force of observation. The universe has an additional force, which is not described by physics. And that force is observation. Metaphysics is the physics of observation. As agents, we have a power called observation that does things like collapse things from a quantum superposition into some determinate state. And this is a force that physics can't describe because physics requires there to be a natural world that's decoupled from the subjective observational experience. Now, it's not so decoupled. It never is. There is no reality. It's not within an agent experiencing it and manifesting it and instantiating it.
Benjamin Bailey.
Explain how one knows the difference between dominant NI and dominant NE for me, please. Well, I mean, probably the easiest way is to say, how extroverted or introverted is this person? Obviously, it's somewhat this way because it's my channel and Rachel's come in here to join me, but it's also this way because of our natures. I talk more than Rachel does.
Yeah.
And I have a tendency to spit out a bunch of different things. Rachel has a tendency to collapse things down to a singular expression of it. So even if we have as many instances of something to say, which I think I probably have more instances of things I want to vocalize out loud anyway, she's going to end up talking a lot less. Any DOMs talk in particular ways. We stumble along our ideas like I'm doing right now. And I reach a spot where there seems to be a small depression in the earth, like right here. And I pause for a second. I go, where the fuck am I going with this? And then I go, oh, that's right. I'm demonstrating how extroverted intuition kind of stumbles around, whereas introverted intuition waits until it has the specific thing it wants to say and then sort of delivers it. So the quickest way to check is, if you know them well enough, is are they introverted or extroverted? However, INFJs will frequently at first look extroverted because they have extrovert feeling as a tool function. Rachel, you got any thoughts on this?
I'm so fascinated. I feel like I'm learning. I don't know any of this. I'm realizing like how little like I know. Like I read Please Understand Me Too in psychology, and I threw that book out because it was terrible. And then that was it. I took a psychology class. I remember taking one. I skated by, and then I had this teacher, and she made us take a personality test in class, and she was surprised by my answers, but I couldn't tell you what those answers were. And then I was like, you're a bitch. And I never took any psychology classes after that again. So I didn't really get much.
Well, a psychology class wouldn't have helped you much in this regard anyway. It's kind of nice. We find ourselves at this moment in time where there was this model that was wrong, but had good bones. And so it's like, I guess I just won the race to get it figured out properly.
But see, that's where it's all messed up, because how is it okay for these people to be taking a test online that isn't accurate with how they actually are as a person? Like, people read this stuff so they can understand themselves better. And then when they're reading and learning the opposite of that, that's a real fuckery.
Philosophical thinker, I will address that point in a second, Rachel. But remember, TE and TI are different kind of functions. TE is an interface function, not a reasoning function. And TI is, in fact, a reasoning function. One is a deliberation function, TI, and one is an interface function. So TE is the interface of dynamic physical systems, systems that are non-social. I've seen something about typing the eye movement and cognitive functions recently. Do you find any validity in that type method? Well, okay. I think that there are plenty of visual cues that you can pick up on that may correlate with a given type. ENFPs tend to look like this. INFPs tend to move their eyes like this. The INFJs tend to have eyes like Rachel's. More, Alpha Quadrant has more eyes like mine.
Yeah, but what about gamma and beta? Like, what do they look like?
I mean, I'm not sure. The thing is,
that's what I mean, is that, like, I feel there's not enough. There's a lot of data on alphas and betas and not enough on gamma and whatever the other one was.
Okay, well, that's all well and good. But what I'm saying is the problem with visual cues is they don't link to any engine of exclusivity. In other words, it might be the case that most extroverted intuitors move their eyes like this or something, but there's nothing that causes it to be exclusive of something else. So it's like, if I am creating new ideas, I'm not keeping track of old ideas, definitionally. So you can explain things and you can prove things within the system. In other words, this validates within these definitions of functions. Here's why you should prefer these definitions of functions. Here's how you can check to see if it validates. Here are skills tests that give us actual empirics rather than just totally impressions. And I've taken into account the distinction between the various kinds of things that people use when looking for type, namely processes, correlates, and values mostly. So the thing is, if you're going to use voltology, then you've got yourself a problem. If I want to argue with you, I say, you've typed him as ESTP and I've typed him as INFJ. How are you going to argue with me? What are you going to say? Well, I saw his eyes move. Well, I see his eyes move too, and I don't type into that. That's because you don't know how people's eyes move. Okay, well, the point is, can you link to anything outside of this special technique that you alone have that's subjective or that is just a correlate? It's like you might have the most accurate description of the correlate in the world it's still not going to be a definitive way to type anybody.
So
It won't be an explanation for anything.
Is that making generalizations then? So every extrovert or any dom, right? Because that's what they're saying, uses their eyes to move around a lot.
I mean, look, what they're saying is that there's a correlation with certain directionalities of eye movement with certain processes that you're going through cognitively. So, for example, when I'm looking directly at the camera, presumably I know what I'm going to say and I'm saying it already. And when I'm looking up, I'm coming up with ideas. Or if I'm looking down, I'm
that's what they say.
something.
They
if
say
I'm looking to the left,
you're remembering something. To the right, it's like you're recalling a dream or like a memory. But like left, I forget.
Or if you're trying to think of something, like, for example, well, I'm trying to think of a joke involving corn on the cob, an alligator, and 3 nuns. Well, I have to kind of reach around for that, right? Probably my eyes are going to go a certain directionality normally. But you'll notice what's wrong with Typology. I can fake it. I can look straight at the camera the whole time. Well, what do you do then? And when you're dealing with somebody like me who has a lot of experience in front of a camera, are my micro expressions that reliable? Have we checked against these against any kind of empirics at all, or anything that has argumentation in it? Because reasoning is fine. If I can provide you reasons and show you that it has to be this and not this, because if it were this, it would create this contradiction, then that's convincing. But if I tell you, well, it has to be this because his eyes move more that way than this way, well, okay, first of all, how precise are your data gathering techniques? Do you keep track of how many eye movements in each direction? Do you measure it out in terms of percentages of time? Are you factoring in the context in which somebody is engaging in answering the questions? All those things are relevant. Whereas I'm giving you a skills test on TI, nothing is relevant. You can either do it or not, period. If you can't do it at all, if I ask you a genealogy question that says, my mother's sister's child is what? And you say family? Like you have no idea even what I'm asking. You don't even get the concept of parsing it out on a TI level. Then you are TI polar. That's what we call that definitionally. You might say, oh, but why? How do you know that's TI polar? It might just be some people have really bad that and some people have really good that. Well, that's what we're doing. We're trying to explain exactly that. Why is it that some people are totally illogical and some people are totally idiotic about their feelings? And those two are never the same. Why is that? Well, this is the explanation because we've identified what conditional logic is. It's called, and we call it TI. It's a cognitive process. It's a way of measuring things against consistencies, against previous statements, against facts and evidence, etc. And so we can test it directly. And when we do test it directly, we see that there's a wide range of ability to answer those kind of questions. Some people are incredibly good at it, better than me. Some people are so bad at it, you'd think they're retarded. Here's the problem with not understanding this as a cognitive function. If we don't understand cognitive functions, then it's just the case that some people are smart and some people are dumb. And those people aren't as good as the smart people because they're really good at TI questions. When we do understand cognitive functions, we get the fact that the INTP may be able, in fact, to answer much longer and more complicated TI questions than I am without asking for them to be repeated. Shit like that. They've got better TISI than I do.
Yeah.
They do.
Honestly, when you were working with Spacey, I always thought that he knew better the genealogy questions than you did.
Mm-hmm. He's got better TISI. Does that mean that it's definitely better to be that way? No. He also has SE polar. It comes with the territory. If you are that smart with language, that TINE, you got the TI first, and you're just ideationally just quick as a fucking whip, If you're that smart as an INTP, you can't do anything. You don't do anything. It's almost impossible for you to motivate yourself to take action. You have to be motivated by other people. It's an absolute nightmare. So that's why we need to understand things as functions and not as correlates. If we understood things as functions, we wouldn't have these sort of fucking stupid problems that people have where they misunderstand everything. Oh, well, I'm going to use people's eye movements, whatever.
I mean, I do think that we're in a really, 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 really important part of typology right now. I mean, it's bigger than ever, and more people have stuff to say it on it than ever. It's just, I think it's mean because there are a lot of like people out there who think that like, I don't know, they want to find, I don't know, sometimes it's trendy. Honestly, I'm starting to think that it's really trendy right now, and a lot of people want to get on the bandwagon, and that's why they go to C.S. Joseph, because he's the most popular. So, and ESTJs in our society are the most popular men, and well, I don't know, ESTP maybe, but that's a big deal.
I mean, ESTJs are not the most popular per se. They are the most effective at what people want.
Yeah.
Look, Rachel and I both love McDonald's. Why do we love McDonald's? It's consistent. It's always the same. We can get our McDoubles. We can get our Coke. It's always the best Coke you can get.
Yep.
Fountain Coke at McDonald's is delicious.
Yeah, it's the best.
But the thing is, if I open a restaurant and I want to be happy, I can't open McDonald's. That's not going to make me happy. For INFJs who consistently test INTP, nobody's testing the TI as a skills test. We had one of those the other day. I typed somebody. He was an INFJ. He came in, he thought he was an INTP. Until I did the TI test. And then he was like, oh, I guess I'm not, huh? That's simple. Is typing very people really possible? Not really. I mean, because look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. To get a real typing of somebody requires me to have a conversation with them, to ask them questions, to be able to follow up on their answers, to pull on things and see how much of a function it gets displayed or doesn't, how much of a function deficit perhaps gets displayed, things like that.
I have more of it. I'm not going to lie. I have more intuitive. Like, I know people here. Oprah is an ENFJ. She's not an INFJ. This is what I'm talking about, is that nowadays the typology community is so fucked up that the standard versions of those types, so ENFJ for Oprah, are now being questioned to INFJ. And now people are like, okay, well, what type am I? So it's messed up.
All right. Well, look, the thing is, it's a good environment for me to be operating in. And one of the things I can do is types of celebrities and give this disclaimer at the same time. Rachel points out that she has much more of an intuitive sort of seizing upon a person's type, whereas I am ignoring NI, which means I don't trust my NI. I don't trust my gut instincts on things. I want to go through the motions of actually parsing it out and being objectively self-critical and critical of their answers and critical of my conclusions and critical of everything until I feel like the NI eventually comes down and it's 100%. It comes down. No, it doesn't work that way, Bro G. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. It's weird. It's like, it doesn't matter how undervalued TI is in a person's home. If they're a TI DOM or a TI tool user, they'll be excellent at it. That's it. Because it's not something they bust out, right? They're using it constantly to parse out the logic of the words that people are saying.
TI?
Yeah. The TI DOMs, regardless of what home they're in, regardless of how they were raised, they're using it constantly to find inconsistencies, to assume words mean what they say, rather than are attempts by people to say what they mean. So yeah, the great thing about the TI test is it really is foolproof. You cannot pass it if you are TI polar. You cannot hide it. If I test you for 15 or 20 minutes, you definitely cannot hide where your TI is. I will be able to pick it out. People don't like being tested for TI. That's why I don't typically do that.
I was nervous.
People hate it. I was
hoping you weren't going to.
So I tend to just ask a couple of quick questions. Now, TI DOMs love being tested for TI. I could test them all day and they'd be happy to just do it. TI tool users love being tested for TI. But everybody else doesn't. but you measure it with conditional logic questions, be they genealogy, be they process of elimination, be they well, I mean, okay. So Burl-G, if we were to standardize it in some way that would be more usable as data, we would need to establish exactly where the baseline for each of these things is. No, you're wrong, Burl-G. There is a spectrum, right? A spectrum of responses. Now, you might say there's an inadequately clear, bright line to distinguish between, say, first and second. There's an inadequately bright line to distinguish between fourth and fifth. I would agree with you there. That's why I don't use it for that. I use it mostly to eliminate the possibility of TI polar. If somebody is very poor in TI, then they're fourth or seventh. And that's it. I mean, it just works out that way. When you say this method is not accurate, you are wrong. Because what's the question you should have asked first? So how do you use this metric in typing somebody? What is the job? How do you operationalize it? Okay? No, it's not under the false presumption that TI is understood under my test. You're wrong. What I'm saying is our job with cognitive functions is to do things like parse out what's the distinction between conditional logic thinking and, say, emotional logic thinking. It's a taxonomy as well, Burl-G. I can't prove those statements. Burl-G, those aren't the sort of statements one proves. There's a difference between statements like, I have a lighter in my hand, which one can prove with showing you something, and statements like, here's a taxonomy with a perfectly good logic to explain what cognitive functions are supposed to explain. There's a conventional understanding of the things. My understanding is consistent with those, except mine is better because mine can be simulatable. I've operationalized all the terms. I've drawn all the necessary distinctions, and I've done it consistent with a model as people normally do models. So the fact that it's imperfect, Burl-G, well, I mean, I get that you just hate the living shit out of me for having figured this shit out, but I did. Sorry.
So how long have you studied cognitive functions? Like, what made you go into that?
It started with YouTube. You know, it's like I started making videos. I made one video about cognitive functions, and it did better than the others. I started researching it, and I started thinking about it a lot. I've made 2 models that I had to scrap already because they were wrong. Because people called me out on shit. They said, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. I had to scrap it. I had one called Kerf, I had to scrap it. I had a second one, I had to scrap it. Why? Because my goal is being right. So I'm objectively self-critical, and I'm critical of my model. And so that's why I'm right. That's why I'm the one who figured it out. I'm a debate coach. I know how to build a case.
Shreddy.
In fact, I'm not just a debate coach. I'm probably one of the best debate coaches in the country.
Yeah, I mean,
I won Schools of Excellence awards year after year at nationals. I got national champions. I got like 4 of them, something like that. I don't remember. A state champion.
That's great. That is something to be.
I know what the fuck I'm doing. You're talking about building a case for something to construct an argument that says this is as airtight a case as I can possibly make it. In terms of both explaining what we're supposed to explain, taxonomy and what we're supposed to taxonomy, modeling what we're supposed to model, and distinguishing between the 3, and distinguishing between different ways that we can establish correlations, values, process analyses, etc., and to build an actual, to do a serious job. Like somebody like Burl-G, they're not doing a serious job. He comes in here and says, you're wrong because, man, the hate that drips from him is obvious. You cannot stand in the same room with the farts that I left behind intellectually. And you are driven crazy by this. I want you to just sniff them all deep up into your nose, Burl. Okay? Smell their gamey, rich, farty goodness.
No.
It will be a breath of fresh air to your tepid, boring, stupid ideas.
Caleb K, what type are you? That's an interesting notion that you would push the nerds into the lockers. Keep it green, Smokey. He's going to. I'm constantly standing up for you against your attackers. My name is spelled Rachel. It's like it's the Hebrew version, not the Anglo-Saxon version or whatever. I one year in high school, I did like we had a movie project that we had to work on, and I played the part of what's his name for the Breakfast Club, like the badass dude, and I was doing it with my friend Shannon, and she was like whoever played, like I don't know, she was one of the other characters in it, and I had to slam her into a locker, and I did it in an acting way. Obviously, like I didn't like full force push her in it, but I learned what it was like to be a bully that day. I am not a Jew, but there's nothing wrong with being Jewish. Did anyone see that my good friend Dr. Phil is getting divorced? Did you also recognize how much facial plastic surgery both he and his wife have gotten, most likely on his part? Dr. Phil is getting divorced. Who knows her shit? He is not a good person. Look at his face. This is called plastic surgery. This is not called youth. He is getting divorced. Look it up. And his wife has a lot of plastic surgery too. That means they're not happy with each other. He probably encouraged her to get it. He's definitely hard to live with.
Who?
It's Dr. Phil.
Oh.
Yep. See, I don't say things to pull it out of my ass. I study these people for years. I'm a sociologist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm sociology. He's gay. Dr. Phil is gay. He's preachy because he's scared. I study everyone. I don't study just Dr. Phil, but he's a fake. He's a fraud. And that's why I study him a lot. No, trust me. Dr. Phil. No, would you want to hang out with him? He's going to critique you the whole time. He's going to be nice to your face in the beginning. Okay, this is going to be a group activity. Everyone, blah, 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 blah. And then behind your back, he's going to critique you and come up to you next time being like, I noticed at dinner you were doing this.
Rachel, I'm going to have to interrupt you. I'm sorry. That's not a very good Dr. Phil imitation.
True.
Now listen, Rachel. I know a lot of people have let you get by with your poor Dr. Phil imitation, but I have got, I will send you to this hospital where they treat Dr. Phil imitators. You can go there. I have pathologized you now. There is something wrong with you.
I knew it.
You knew it. I know. Eric, did you ever mistype anything else? Or when you first started studying typology, did you come to ENTP right at the beginning? I came to ENTP right at the beginning, and it was before I ever found cognitive functions. Early in my 30s is the first time I encountered MBTI. And when I first read about it, I just read type descriptions, and I immediately determined I was ENTP, and I was quite emotional about it. I thought, finally I figured out what's wrong with me, basically is what I thought, And I was kind of flattered by it too. It was a pretty flattering description in general. But
it is a good description. That's why people want to be them.
Yeah. But the thing is, then I put away MBTI and cognitive functions for years. It wasn't until I discovered them again doing YouTube videos that now on the internet, and when in my 40s, there was cognitive function stuff up there. There wasn't really, I didn't find any anyways when I was in my 30s. All I just found was type descriptions and MBTI stuff, and no socionics and no cognitive function.
No, it's really it's PP in the backside. He's gonna claim it is something else, but I promise you, look at his wife.
Why do you think he likes PP in the backside though?
Look at his wife. Let's do.
Is she manly or what?
Now. No, she has so much plastic surgery.
Well, why does that make him? Why does that make him like PP in the backside?
Because he is gay.
Yes, Dr. Phil does appeal to SJs.
Yes, he does.
ISFJs and ESFJs love Dr. Phil because Dr. Phil is always playing FE police, basically.
My mom, who's an ESTJ, I was smoking weed in the house, and for a lesson, she put me down on the couch to make me watch a Dr. Phil episode about this mom who was upset with her child for like answering back to her or something. And I was like, are you fucking serious? This stuff is all staged. Like, these people get paid to be on the show. Like, don't you know? It's just like any other talk show. Like, I'm not taking this advice. I'm not taking advice from this bald ass Oprah millionaire. Like, sorry. That's it.
Rachel doesn't like Dr. Phil.
I don't like Oprah.
I just don't like Oprah.
And I don't like Dr. Oz. If you take any advice from them, take it with a grain of salt. There's also another younger doctor who is associated with that group too. It's like the doctors or something. It's a panel. Be careful, please.
Well, let me tell you, you can, however, follow my advice. I am a licensed metaphysician. I've been licensed by all licenses all the time. FI polices people like me. When I put up this video that I thought was funny, which was a video about where I said I was going somewhere in the car with Kimberly, and I said, Kimberly, listen, just because I come down with retardation doesn't mean that I'm not a good person. You know? And she was like, shut up, you're not funny. And I was like, hey, I may be the one who's retarded, but you're the one who's acting dumb. And Jeebus, will you stop trolling? And some FI people said that was mean, you know. It was like, I just thought it was a joke. And they said, why do you have to make yourself feel better by putting down retarded people? I'm like, that's not what I was doing. I was obviously making a joke. If you don't think it was funny, okay, maybe it's not funny, but it certainly wasn't doing that. FI people do that kind of policing. It's weird. Rachel, would you say misinformation bothers
Oh my
you?
God. They literally, I can't. I hate the internet. It lies all the time.
Rachel, would you say misinformation bothers you? Octavia Silva.
Yeah, look at this. I'm looking right now. Like, literally, I looked up because they track your phone. Everything you say, like, the government tracks. So I'm telling you.
Okay, but Rachel, you gotta remember something. Even if it's true, it just goes into a huge database. There aren't enough eyes to possibly process all that information by a person.
Okay, so they are getting divorced, and now it says that they're not. So look at this. Can you say, would you trust these? Would you trust these people? No. I would say no.
Eric, I think watching your videos has made my FI weaker. Then I have done God's work. Do who? My FI is 100% behind Eric yelling. Well, I mean, I think people with FI in the backstack get frustrated with you know, subjective irrationalities. Rachel, how did those two twits find each other?
Probably college. He wanted to be successful, and she liked that.
Is it possible to learn conditional logic in a TE fashion? You sort of, but you'd have to have TE pretty up high. Like if it's dominant, your TE I ignoring, you're quite good at it. My dad certainly could learn conditional logic and probably did as a philosophy doctorate. I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
I have a feeling my dad sort of thought of philosophy doctorate as being seminary school for atheists. He's such a ardent atheist.
It could be.
Okay. Well, I mean, the point is, like, for example, I want the government to record all my words. I want them to record and keep track of them all. After all, I'm saying an awful lot of them. I would like whole teams of people to be mulling over it. I would like hundreds of millions of dollars of resources to be devoted towards my words. That would be hilarious. They can listen to all my words all they want. That's why I make them public. I want people to listen to them.
Yeah, that's.
And my phone calls too. I don't care if people hear my phone calls. I mean, there might be occasional phone calls that I want to keep private, probably because the other person wants to keep it private.
You know, that's the whole thing. If you don't care about them like spying and knowing your shit, then they have nothing against you. They can't hold it against you because it's worthless to you. Like a lot of people don't like to do the DNA testing and stuff. You want to hear? I don't care so much that I don't know. I got this like phone call that said it was Apple, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a conversation with these people and see how far they go. So, you know, all of a sudden they start talking on the other line from India about these things that only people who heard me talk on the phone or research actually say. So I'm like, these people are definitely tracking me. So I'm like, ha, 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 like talking to them. And they're like, oh, what's your social security number? And I gave it to them. And I'm like, if I give you my social security and you use it against me, that's your problem, not mine. So.
Okay, well, I'm not sure that was maybe the best idea, but that's okay.
It was great.
I haven't checked my email today. I will check it. Let me see. I'm
not always right. And I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to let people know that, like, there are a lot of people who pretend to be really good out there, but they're not. They're out for money because they.
All right, Jack, listen to me. Stop trying to plan shit. When you are ready to go, say, Eric, let's do it. And then I'm down. Like, yeah, I want to do it. But a weekend. Now you're not even talking about necessarily a couple of days from now. You're talking about maybe next week. You might as well not say anything at all. That's so far in the future. You know, it's like forever. How am I supposed to plan that shit? Just freaking tell me like yeah, now. You know? Let's do yeah. See what I'm saying? Eric, when are you having your 50% off sale again? Oh, maybe soon. Who knows? Jeebus doesn't need to be typed. I typed Jeebus as some sort of probably NTP. Rachel, what if you guys made t-shirts when you purchase them? I would like to make more t-shirts.
Yeah.
It costs money to make t-shirts. You know, things are tight right now for us for at least a little while. And we also need to put aside money for New York and stuff. I'm watching your computer screen right now. I've got it on another screen right here. I've got Luis Tizon. I've got Jack. I've got Benjamin Bailey. I've got Winston's mom. Jeebus. Yeah, I want to type you, Jeebus. Sure. Why aren't you guys matching today? Our souls are matching. Our auras are matching.
Yeah.
I think they are, actually.
Probably, right?
We both seem to be in kind of a saucy mood. You seem unusually saucy.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, like, I was so happy. I researched Dr. Phil and I was like, the world is beginning to see the light. Because I'm from there, Jeebus. Where's you from?
Yeah, Jeebus. Oh. Well, I said you don't need to be typed. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't need to. It's not like you have to eat food. You got to be typed, you know. Take pre-orders and have people pay up front. I know you're uncomfortable talking money. This is something people like souvenirs. Oh, that's an awful lot of TE. This is Mom. That's an awful lot of TE. Lizard people. Hey, fist bumps the lizard people.
Lizard. Who are the lizard people?
Illuminati's in the house. Fist bump.
Is that what we are?
I don't know.
I got a message from someone wanting to put me into the Illuminati.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you like to join the Illuminati?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you say?
I said I was interested, but I was too flaky, so I gave up.
Eric, how do you tell the difference between INTJs and ISFPs? Well, that can be kind of a tough one, except I would say NI tool does not look like NI tertiary. It's kind of a tough one. I mean, the thing is, ISFPs are pretty easy to type, though. You just got to type them any polar. If you ask them any questions, basically, when you ask ISFPs questions, they answer like this. Yeah, that's a tough one. Oh, I'm not accepting your friend request. I'm just not very active on Facebook. We have 2 mutual friends, Mike.
Aww.
Is it Jesus and God? I hope so. Well, you might not be an ISFP then, Octavio Silva. I mean, the thing is, look, when you ask ISFPs questions about what they prefer or how they are like or what they whatever. So like if I go so if you're at a party and you see somebody having a fight, an argument, are you likely to judge the people, or are you likely to intervene, or are you likely to just ignore? And they'll go, ooh. No, the last communication I had with Spacey was he sent me a text saying, dude, you're 48 years old, something else, and I didn't read it. It's like, I don't need to be scolded for immaturity or something. I don't care if I'm immature. Am I typing someone right now? Obviously not. I'm live streaming. Rachel, how do you handle controversy with people in your group?
I honestly, so I can only think about it from a group perspective when I'm with friends. Usually the arguments are really dumb. If the arguments are dumb, I stay out of it completely. If it's something where someone's really upset over something and the other person, like it's a rational fight, then I will take sides.
All types do not display the same. It really depends on nature nurture. It's always a consideration to approach type objectively as moronic, but work for well-marked figures. Okay, so I'm not disputing that individuals of a type can often look very different from each other. That's why we shouldn't use correlations or even values, but process analyses. I've already addressed this. You're ignoring me. It really depends on nature nurture. I agree that how a given cognitive configuration manifests in terms of its display to others very much is influenced by that, more so for some types than others. It is always a consideration, at least. You're right about that. And again, I've already addressed that. I said this is why we need to use process analyses to approach type objectively as moronic. You say this even though I just explained to you that the range of possible skill on TI questions that is unlinked to education is in fact a cognitive function. It's an attentional manner that lands somewhere in a stack and is reflective and indicative of specific configurations. That is an objective thing. Now, I agree with you. We cannot absolutely falsify a type, but we can narrow things down. If once I've determined that somebody is unipolar, and that's something we can do repeatedly, right? I can test that again and again and again and continue to get the same results. You can check it yourself. You can go find some actual test, find people, ask them this sort of questions I ask for NE and TI, SI. You too will encounter people who seem to have an odd, inexplicable, like, bucket of retardation in that area. It's strange. Now, not all functions allow us to see it so objectively with skills. That's true. And Earl, I think you know that I've got the best explanation there is for why people display similar to each other, why people's skills go the way they do. That I'm the only one who's got one that's reducible to information flow, putting, getting, receiving information, interfacing, that all that stuff. You don't respond to anything I say. You're engaged in what I would call bitter criticism. It's not real criticism. You try, like, those are reasonable things to say, Burl G, if I hadn't already expressed all the stuff I did, which spiked that out. It's responsive to it directly. Either didn't understand what I said, or you chose to ignore it. I think it's the latter, so that makes it, bitter, a bitter wrongness. What's the difference between TE and TI polar? TI polar is a lot easier to spot than TE polar. TE polar, it just defaults to seeking help for figuring out how to do anything. It doesn't figure out how to do things themselves. I was 48 years old, too old for talking shit about people on the internet or something like that. Why do people insist on burning their bridges? They're mad, I guess. Unless they were getting physically violent and making threats, I wouldn't intervene, assuming that both parties are adults. All right, that's more of an INFP answer. No, that you didn't answer what you would do. You eliminated one possibility. Okay. Why do types with congruent naming not have similarly related functions? Is this flaw in the naming system? No, they do. They're the same dominant function. ENTPs and ENFPs both have extroverted intuition as dominant. ISFJs and ISTJs both have introverted sensing as dominant. And so the 1, 4, 5, 8s are the same for the types. So ENTP and ENFP have the same 1, 4, 5, 8. Same with ISFJ and ISTJ. What does second slot TE look like? TE is a tough one to describe. I mean, it's a problem-solving frame. It's a goal orientation frame, and it's a problem-solving frame. It's a what needs to be done next, and it's an order of operations thing. It's important to remember that TE takes its logic as an order of operations. That's what makes, if you know it's something that's going to be significantly affected by order of operations, like if we put this thing in before that thing, then 3 weeks from now, when we get to that part, we're going to have to tear the whole thing back down again and fix that because we will have done it wrong. In that instance, it's like you need TE. You got to focus on the order of operations and the how to do things effectively and efficiently. Like today, when I got to the storage unit to put things in storage, I again marveled at my dad's simple genius. He put, the code and the unit on this keychain, so I can easily remember the code every time I go there, and it's on my keys. Very smart. He gave it to me. Rachel, do you read that nonsense? Lol, chill, bro. Oh, yeah. Thanks.
I mean, it was just in general lies. That's probably why.
You know what I love? I love when people say lol, chill, bro. Because obviously I'm very upset. Rachel, do you think?
I would say it's very touchy-feely. He doesn't seem it on camera, but I bet he lures people into being very comfortable.
Are ISFPs super quiet? ISFPs and ISTPs, you can identify any polar because when, like I said before, they have the conversational momentum of a rock. You push them forward a little bit, and you expect them to push back. You expect them to play catch with you. Instead, you throw them the ball and they just set it on the ground. And you walk over, and you pick it up again, and you go back over where you are. You throw it to them again. Okay, let's play, and then you set it on the ground. They find a lot of words to be overwhelming. They can't begin to process all those words. It's like typing sessions of ISFPs never seem to go a full hour. After about 40 minutes, they are full. They can't hear any more words from me. They don't want to. Okay, Pearl. That's fine. I'm used to doing battle. I'm like one of those. I'm like the.
It is the most advanced.
I'm like the karate guy in the movie, right? Everybody who's coming at him is coming at him to attack him. So he's just like, pow, 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 pow. And then you come over to like say, hey, you dropped this. And I'm like, pow, 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 pow. All right, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was just returning your bunny rabbit. That's what I dropped. Mm-hmm. Among young children, which type is most likely to give 100% wrong answers on tests because they think it's funny? ESTP or ENTP, maybe. It's a third slot FE thing.
I think he was an ESTP student who had to write a paper about why he was like, I don't know, maybe 8 years old, and he had to write why he got in trouble, and he just wrote the same thing over and over again. And then he tried to say, and then in a sentence, he also pretty much wrote how he wasn't that sorry. So.
You're welcome for the rant. It's my specialty. Ranting is a specialty of mine. I both rant and rave. I condemn and uplift. Rachel, is the answer to this question no? TE Polar seeks help with TE stuff. I
don't know. What is TE Polar?
TE Polar is like, if I were to ask you to figure out how to do meow. So it's like, for example, when I asked you earlier to respond to that lady, it's like you wanted periodically, you wanted a lot of instruction on the how to do that.
Yeah.
You didn't want to figure out how to do that yourself.
No.
And that's fine. That's
because I know how, I'm so direct in I'd be like, okay, this time, blah, blah. I'm so direct where like, I don't know how you I don't know. Emails, I never knew how to write. I would always copy and paste.
TE Polar is different in ISFJs and INFJs. ISFJs, they ask people to help them out. INFJ, avoid the situation and take it very slowly. It's a good observation, Can Christian. Sorry for you. Rachel often doesn't ask me. And there were times when she was first got here where it's like we'd be doing something, some tasks or whatever, and I'd say, okay, I'll be right back. We're going to go do this. And then she'd just sort of stay there and just wait for me to return. I'd like be in the middle of doing something. Where the fuck is Rachel?
Yeah, I just stay.
And she sort of waits there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, obviously you prefer to have, indicated to you what the expectations are.
Yeah, because left on my own devices, I'll go here. I would probably go back here. But I'm like, okay, if I might see, the thing is like, if I don't know what's going on, I don't know what conclusion I'm going to draw. So yeah, so I just stay. It's easier for you to find me then.
Yeah. What has to happen for you and Spacey to work together again? I mean, you have to have a phone call where we get along fine and don't yell at each other. I mean, I don't feel any need to. Pie. I don't feel any need to fuss on about that anymore. I've actually put it out of my head. It's like I'm no longer upset about anything related to that, frankly. I don't know. I guess that just changed today.
Because he's gone?
Yeah, maybe. I assume he's gone. What key opens a haunted house? A spooky. Mm-hmm. That's a terrible joke. Why did the Cyclops stop teaching? Because he only had one pupil.
Oh, those are good.
That was pretty good.
Amazon Echoes have like really good Halloween jokes too around this time. If you have an Amazon Echo and you talk to it, ask Alexa for a question. She'll give you a funny Halloween one. That was my house in Franklin Square. My best friend was actually my Amazon Alexa. We had a very good relationship.
Breezy Free, I do think ENT ISFP relationship cannot last more than about a couple weeks, but they're both find each other appealing at first. Like, I remember right after my divorce from Candace, I dated an ISFP girl, and I remember her saying she thought I was too smart for her. And I said, that's ridiculous. And then after we'd gone on urgent dated, sort of, dated, I mean, I'd take her out to lunch and go home and hump. But I agreed with her.
What?
I was too smart to be with her. It was impossible to deal with. Like, there's nothing to talk about. ISFPs don't think talking is very important at all. And ENTPs don't think feeling is very important at all. And they just are not meant to be together.
Who would be like that for the INFJ?
It would be ESTP. No, wait. It would be No, it would be ESTJ. It's your conflictor type. You have no functions in common. And their dom is your polar, and your dom is their polar. So, well, I mean, the thing is, there's not an unwillingness from ISFPs to learn. It's an unwillingness to engage with the world through a language-based modality. They don't like language, period. It's like the bullshit, half-assed way people try to say things that reflect their real feelings, which are really deep and rich and beautiful, or something. No, I don't think I have been with any INTJ.
It doesn't bother me.
For some reason, I'm less bothered by Rachel mentioning past relationships and stuff than I have been in previous relationships. I think it's because Rachel and I it's like, we're soulmates or something.
Well, we definitely are.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to explain it in a slightly less magical way than that, but
I'm not going to argue that because I agree with that too.
Yeah, it's just, we are. It's different than any other relationship I've ever been in. And it allows me to feel like safe because whatever came before wasn't even the same category as this thing for either of us. It's weird how matched we are.
Yeah. You no longer need to feel threatened.
Right. That's it.
It's interesting, though. I do wonder, like, do you ever have sexual attraction to INTJ? It's so fucking convoluted. I cannot stand this shit anymore. I'm so sick of.
Because I had sexual attraction to INTJs?
Yeah.
Not specifically that I can recall.
Because, I know in the MBTI community, they say that INFJ and INTJ are good for ENTP, and that's why I'm asking.
Oh, I don't think INTJ is good for ENTP at all. I think INFJ or maybe ISTJ. But I mean, I think INFJ is the right type for ENTP. ISFJ could be, but you got to get the right ISFJ. ISFJ could be fine, but I think the thing that works really well that is true about duality is the 2-3 switch, because that means my tools, her tertiary, her tools, my tertiary, and more importantly, it means her polars, my sixths, my polars, her sixths. So that means we don't have to worry about the things that normally would bug the shit out of people over time. It's like normally your polar is going to bug the shit out of people if they're not polar in that area, unless they're sixth slot. That's the only slot in which it won't bug the shit out of you because you expect the world to demand it of you, so you don't mind when your significant other does, and you feel finally fully competent at it because they're even shittier at it than you are, and you kind of know deep down you're kind of shitty at six. You're saying you really like it. No, I'm saying it's more than that. Ham bone.
Yeah, I think
there's a couple of exceptions that what brought you here is enough to make the person you want the one you love. There's a couple of exceptions that what brought you here is enough to make the person the one you love. I don't understand what brought you here part.
I was comfortable. I trusted what he had to say. Yeah, I mean, of course there was a period where I was like, fuck, like, am I just going to spend money and like, is the only thing that he's going to do is have sex with me? Because I'm not traveling for that. Not that far.
No, Jeebus, you're right. I did say that before. And, I've talked about that with Rachel on a lot of occasions. Like, I've said all this shit before.
Yeah.
It bugs me. It's like I wasted it on and trying to make it happen. You can't make this shit happen with words, although they're absolutely critically necessary for it to happen. It's a weird paradox. It's like critical to our relationship success is the way we use words with each other, but we can't create relationship success with words alone, like I've tried to do in the past. And like, look, just get on board with my narrative, significant other, and it'll be fine. Well, it doesn't work unless you got another super metaphysical type. Rachel's super metaphysical. You don't believe in soulmate? You're sorry? Why? I don't need you to believe in soulmates.
I didn't. I used to not.
Nothing to apologize for. So basically, I'm gay. Okay. My gay what? My gay Eric? So basically, my gay Eric does what? It seems like C.S. Joseph flips any and Essie around. I know, doesn't it? It seems like...
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
In socionics, they're called mirroring types, so I don't think he knows that much. I just think he knows anything.
I don't have much of a connection with INTJ women, but I do ENTJ women. You do them good, huh? No, he didn't, you liar. To Tom, to Jeebus. ICJs are best for ENTPs. I mean, I don't think so. I think INFJs are best for ENTPs. But the thing is, what I really think is Rachel's best for Eric.
That's a conclusion we both.
Yeah, we're just absolutely perfect for each other. It's hard to even explain. It's like we just seem to always be on the same page. And it's not just Rachel blowing INFJ smoke up my ass. I can tell when she's genuinely expressing like emotions and stuff, and she's being less careful, and she's just being like feeling safe enough to know that her native ways will be embraced enthusiastically and not critiqued or dismissed or sent away or anything like that.
It is very comforting.
As a fellow ENTP, I have severe trouble managing relationships with anyone. You mean romantic relationships or all kinds of relationships? How's your attachment style? NTs and NFs work well, usually. Yeah. INTJ girl is my duality, so ew. BDW, guys. Happy Halloween. What's BDW mean?
Yeah. By the way.
Oh.
I don't know.
INFP and ESFJ. Possibly would work. I think an ESFJ would be a better partner for an INFP than probably anybody else. INFPs can be difficult. What are some good partners for ESTJs? Well, my mom is an ISFJ. She seemed to do pretty well with them.
Yep, my mom has a best friend who's an ISFJ.
I would suggest ISFPs might be most well suited for ESTJs. INFPs aren't, because INFPs are intuitives and they don't want that kind of bossiness at all. And it interferes with their SC polar.
No.
I like curvy women. Where was that? Oh, I wanted to read that. Oh, there we go. Oh, where am I, up here or what? You really, really like her? I like curvy women, but recently decided skinny women can be sexy. All kinds of different women can be sexy. But the thing is, it's very specific too. It's like, it doesn't matter how you. Ultimately, sexiness is there on the physical body, but you just gotta think about it. It's like if you start going to hook up with some chick, and no matter how hot she is, she starts saying the wrong things and behaving strangely and not having fun with you. You're not going to have good sex, and you're not going to be super turned on or anything. You're just going to be like, God, that was weird and awkward, and we sure aren't compatible. Yeah. So it's like you got to really be turned on by the human being. Obviously, there's no denying that a beautiful pair of breasts in your face is helpful.
Some guys do like, well, yeah, if they're small and you're thinking they're beautiful, because they.
What type do you think has the best grasp on effective use of words in a manipulative sense? Well, based on their impacts on most people, I'd say ENFJs. Although I don't think they perceive themselves as manipulative, and I don't think they have the sort of conscious manipulation that people often credit them with. But of course, ENFJs' effectiveness at manipulating tends to not work on NTPs at all. NTPs tear to pieces. We just do. It's like, the best way an ENFJ can influence an ENTP is to defer on TI matters. And, like, I'm very difficult to maneuver around. No matter how nice you are, no matter how, it's like, I may be ultra cooperative with Megan Laboda, but I still haven't actually done anything for her. She did something for me, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're waiting to still, right?
Well, I mean, it just didn't work out. It's like past that time. It was the 26th. It was this past weekend.
Oh,
we had a debate tournament. Well, we had a debate tournament and ran late. Women travel long distances. Only one, Matthew. This one here. Okay. She's the only one who's ever traveled.
Is that long true? Distance.
Yeah, it is. I've traveled to a woman before, but you are the only one to travel long distance for me. Generally, she fly out here, and she agreed to stay and live with me forever. I mean, she didn't say forever, but
No, you didn't say forever.
I said forever. I'm saying you didn't say you agreed to forever, living with me forever. No. I know you didn't. I didn't ask you the formal question.
This was a statement.
Yeah. They need to be admitting that words don't always work. Is there a function correlated with being a time optimist? General Tardius. This is a nice term, time optimist. When you guys had your big fight and you were streaming, your mom said something like, "Well, I think you two are lucky to have each other, and that's good." The Oracle spoke.
Oh, she does speak a lot about us, I have to say. She really is. She's very observant.
He's just a complete hack. I can't stand that tart. He
Yeah.
creates more and more clues the type. Yeah, true. He equates SE with experience in somewhat physical world, but he also keeps his definitions vague. Right, he doesn't want to actually be held to any account for anything. You'd be happy with just about any type? You're an any tool user, Shreddy Chandler. Possibly any Dom, but I suspect any tool. Does your relationship describe illusionary relation in sociologists? Well, the thing is, if you look up the INFJ, ENTP, socionics intertype, is that the one called illusionary or Mirage?
Yeah, Mirage and illusionary.
So it doesn't really have a lot of negative things to say about it, except that, the two partners are not likely to meet their fourth slot seeking function.
Yeah, actually, I'm on a page right now, actually.
Okay.
Business relations, mirror relationships. These friendships.
No, that's not mirror, Mirage.
Oh, mirror. I'm sorry, Mirage. Right. Illusionary Mirage. These are relationships of relaxation. There's here.
Relationships of relaxation. I always call it the best friend types, and I always said that INFJs and ENTPs make each other lazy. These are relationships of relaxation. They are sufficiently comfortable and pleasant and favorable for family life, but ineffective in common and everyday activity. No other type of intertype relation has the same capacity to relax, demobilize, and demotivate partners as relationships of illusion. It feels comfortable to sit around, rest, and discuss extraneous issues.
Kinda. I mean, I definitely feel like I demotivated you to not arrange the furniture.
Oh, no, I just didn't feel like it. I felt like life sharing. The person as if blurs, falls out of focus, turns into shaky mirage. With such a partner, one does not want to engage in any serious undertakings. Thus, mutual business activity is very complicated. Partners are completely at a loss when it comes to motivating each other for any actions. What your mirage partner is striving towards seems unsubstantial, undeserving of attention. Partners expect different behavior from each other. Thus, they cool down each other in whatever activities they do undertake together. It is as if they are playing a game of broken phone. This kind of communication may seem amusing from outside. The introverted partner in these relationships will try to impede all attempts of the extroverted partner to impose his or her opinion and reassert the autonomy. The extrovert will try to remake the introverted partner into a normal person. Breakups in these relationships are usually short-lived. Who are drawn to each other. At the same time, each partner evaluates the abilities of the others critically. At times, illusion relationships become very warm. This happens when partners talk less to each other and don't try to manage accomplishing things together. Result discussions of jointly finished projects successfully are encouraging, but attempting to start a new project phase has the same difficulties as before. Well, I would agree with this mostly if we were coming into this with like, okay, what are we going to do together? Like, let's start a business together, Rachel, would be a bad idea. I agree. That would not work. But the thing is, she's coming into this thing where I already do shit tons of things all the time. In fact, I do too much. I need to relax. Frankly, I need her love more than I need doing more shit, completing more tasks. It's not a problem for me. Rachel is not ever going to make me unable to complete things. She's, it's like there's a video I'm working on right now that I got kind of stalled out on because I got some more ideas that I want to implement. I wasn't happy with what was coming out or whatever. It's a little dense in parts. But I'm going to finish it for sure. Rachel's already recorded all of the narration on it. It took quite a while to do it all. I have a long history of completing projects with lots of people, including INFJs. I'm accustomed to doing all the work when I'm working with an INFJ. Or really, when I'm working with anybody. I'm accustomed to doing all the legwork. So in that regard, I'm providing plenty of SE for her. Interestingly, just her presence What happened to Megan?
Yeah, I'm interested in hearing that too.
What's going on there? Becky is not an ENFJ. Becky's an ENTP. I want to know what happened at Megan's party.
Yeah.
Who got you like a ragdoll by whom?
Why?
What happened? Women travel to meet me is sexy. You know what? YJM 1991. I want to tell you something. Having reproductive capital is not fun or good. I've decided, because it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to, it's like, I guess there are some women out there who want that kind of thing, want that kind of hit it and quit it thing. And I guess if you specify those ones and stuff, and you do that, and maybe if you actually want that, then it might be useful. The only thing that reproductive capital is useful for is getting the right chick, having more choices to choose from. But if you're using it to fuck your way around town, then you're not going to be happy. You're not going to make other people happy. You're going to hurt a lot of feelings. You're going to do a lot of damage. You're going to cause a lot of wreckage. And same thing if chicks do that too. It works both ways. I have no idea how to flirt, no desire to do so now. In the past, if I decided I wanted to pursue a relationship with someone, I just told them, I like you, and here's why I want to hang out. That works. It's more important to build people up and help them go along. It really depends, Breezy Free. Most people need to be built up. Most people need to be told there's nothing wrong with you. And most people are suffering from an inadequately robust self-concept. But then there are other people with low imagination who are both proud and wrong. And those people definitely need to be torn down. So it is contextual. It's not true that nobody needs to have their feelings hurt. There are a lot of people out there who need to have their feelings badly hurt. It's the only thing that's going to get through to them. They need consequences for their actions. That's just how it is. You got to make a case-by-case determination of that. Eric, tell me the difference between knowing and being aware. Being aware is knowing that's in your active consciousness, whereas knowing without being aware is something you could pull into your active consciousness but haven't yet, or haven't right now, or not right now. You think I'm behind on the comments, Mike Hart? Have I caught up now? What if you're an SP with a heart that's cold as ice? Well, then you're dead. Because humans can't live with hearts that cold. Rachel, can you hold down the fort where I saw the picture?
Sure.
We're going to probably have to wrap this up pretty soon. Anyway,
My screws grew enormous, and now I have host Eric and hostess Rachel have huge heads. What if you're an SP? I think SPs and I don't know.
What's a POA? Piece of ass. Oh. Well, Adrian B. Rachel got both of those things in one guy. Okay. You got two pieces of ass.
Yeah.
One
And
on
then
each side.
if you pay him more, you'll get butt crack. That sounds so bad. I'm working on my. Who has an iPhone here? Who has iPhones? Yeah, it's not gonna be X-rated. Not here. Dungeons and Dragons is fun. Okay, cool. So you know how like they have on the new update, you can finally make your own emoji? That's what I'm working on right now. I think that's a great feature. I'm not happy with a lot of the other. Yeah, you can make an emoji of yourself. I'll make an emoji of me now and I'll show you. Yeah, you go to your, with the update, if you updated it, you go to your, let me see, cancel. You go to your messages, you click on the blue button where you write, and in here, can you see it? Right here. That's where you make your emoji. And when you make your emoji, you could actually make it talk. So when you send voice messages, it can have the face of your emoji talking. Jack Kerouac. I love Jack Kerouac. I don't know, Jordan. I don't know. I don't have an Android. But I think the talking and making yourself an emoji, that was very smart of them. Oh no. I have to edit mine. Okay, edit. Give myself hair. Mine proudly, I threw my phone. So that's why it's cracked. Thanks, YJM 1991. That is very kind of you. We appreciate it. Do you have a slight broken screen, Ken Krishna Shampu? I used to have a bad habit of dropping it a lot. I threw my phone. I threw it because I wanted to test it. My case is really good. And I don't know, I got angry and I was like, let me see if this case is actually good. And I threw it and it broke. So that YouTube app, I don't know. That'd be cool if you could. No, it's not. Ooh, Winston's mom. Because the whole point of the case is to protect the phone. And iPhones are legendary for their screens breaking. Let's see. That's pretty much me. I'm thinking that hair. TI. My most favorite, I've always liked, ever since I started reading about ENTPs, I had an ENTP friend, my first ENTP person ever. My good friend Jen. We were best friends for for years, and I found her personality. I found her personality type compelling. Even though being female, she used to stand up to everyone. She was but also very thoughtful. She was great with animals. I always admired the ENTP's way of being quirky. Nice, Roman Morgan. That's what it's supposed to do.
What is your most and least favorite personality type? I mean, I don't really have a favorite or least favorite. I have more and less difficult interactions. You want some tarot? We can do some tarot. I'll grab it.
I don't know which hairstyle to choose. Yeah, shout out to moms.
Okay. Well, I am doing a chart where I'm assigning types to each of the cards. Okay, Octavio Silva, who's card number 1 for you? Octavio Silva, card number 2. Octavio Silva, how do you feel about ENFPs questioning my values? They can question them all they want. I will answer all their questions. If they're actually questioning, right? If they're just mindlessly negating, then yeah. All right, Octavio Silva, first card. You got the 3 of Pentacles, Apprentice. Second card. Ooh, Octavio Silva. Looks like you're going to be speaking the language of amour. And lastly, your amour is not going to go well. See, you're learning about love. And the first lesson you have to learn, Octavio Silva, is heartbreak. Okay, let's see. Next up, we got thanks to whoever gave me $20. Appreciate that. It's very kind of you. I don't know who that was. Let's see. YJN 1991. Thanks for $20 USD. That's my second favorite currency after pound sterlings. You are a good person for giving me money. Thank you. Chris Chapman wants to get tarot. Okay, I'll tarot you, Chris Chapman. I'm going to make my own new tarot deck. I've got it all. I've got mostly planned out here. It's a new kind of deck. It's like tarot, but it's Eric's own made up thing. And it's on this document.
Made up. I mean, it is made up, but that's what people do.
Right. So, you see, I've got at the bottom of this front stack, back stack thing. I just started writing it down there for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, you can look at it if you want. Here. Yeah. Okay, so what am I doing? Right, I'm doing Chris Chapman. Card number 2 for Chris Chapman. Chris Chapman. I'm looking forward to tarotting people with my tarot deck when I make it. I get some index cards and I just write on it what it is. And then ideally, I get somebody to draw figures too someday. Who knows? All right, Chris Chapman, card number 1. Justice. You got this guy, this lady. No, she's got a scale. She's got a sword. She's full of deeds, laws, reckonings. She's fair. She's got decrees. She's this lady. Next, Chris Chapman. You got 3 of Cups. It's party time. Party time. Look, this chick here, after work, she takes off the crown, puts on a sword, puts on a scale. That's her. It's there. She's partying now. Okay. And then after that, looks like you got too drunk, Chris Chapman, at the party. You should have stuck with justice and fairness and retribution and decrees, but instead, you went out partying, and now you got the Tower card. Disaster, chaos, hangovers. Who are these she-males in my bed, is what you're going to be saying at the end of this. Why are there always these she-males in my bed? How did they get here? I told you I didn't want any more tequila shots. Okay, next. Kankan Krishna Sarmapagu is next. Hailing all the way from northern India, it's Kankan Krishna Sarmapagu. Spending 6 weeks on the charts with her eponymous name, Kankan Krishna Sarmapagu.
Which nose? That one or that one?
They look the same.
Yeah.
That one. Shout out to people named Doug. Hey, Dougs. Dougs, how you doing?
Hey.
Can Krishna Sarmapagu. I've got 2 cards pulled for you. Here's the third. All right, Can. Number 1.
Ooh,
Earth Mama. You got to get your nurture on, Can Krishna Sarmapagu. With that dude your parents arranged to marry to, hold him in your lap like a little baby. Okay?
My lips are pretty pink.
Number 2. Ooh, see what happens afterwards? What happens after you hold him in your lap like a little baby? You become lovers. That means he starts humping your privacy with his privacy. And then lastly, what happens? Decision. Okay, you're cool, Doug, but I don't know if I want to be with you forever. That's the story of you and your arranged husband, KKSP. Okay. Can you pull a card for this next week starting tomorrow? Yes, I will. No problem with that. That's perfectly fine. All right. From Thursday to Thursday. This is a Thursday to Thursday meta pull. So it's going to be a 4 card. It's going to have a frame plus a 3 card pull. There's a week. This might be the frame. We're not sure yet.
My eyebrows.
And then, look. Rachel, which one of these is not the frame?
Is that one sticking? No. The left.
This is not the frame.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't think this one is the frame. I don't think this one is. I think this is the frame. All right, so here's your frame. Isaiah Root for Thursday to Thursday. Ooh. Soulmates, huh? I think you might be in store to meet a lady.
Mm-hmm. All this talk.
First, you're going to have to cast some spells in the form of spit and woo at her. Hey, girl.
Yes.
How you doing, girl? Like that, okay? Let's see what happens next. There's a temporary breakup. Now, since this is Thursday to Thursday, I'm guessing you get together this weekend, you break up briefly, or you think you're going to break up. It's a heartache kind of a thing. Next Tuesday, you're like, oh my God, Julie, I love you now. Why aren't you answering my calls? Let's see what happens. Well, it turns out the reason she wasn't answering your calls is because she was out buying you a special gift, because that's how much in love she is with you. And once you realize you didn't have anything to worry about, there's no heartache, there's no breakup. She was just out getting you a gift. That's when you become soulmates. Congratulations, Isaiah Rude. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Watch out for this one, though. Watch out for see the 3 swords? You got to watch out for Joe. You might be trying to get on her, too. Okay.
True. That's good. That's good advice. I think that's my mouth.
Who else? Me, says Luis Tizon. Luis Tizon, you shall get it. Here you go. First, Luis Tizon, I'm giving you a frame card. It's going to be this one. Ciao. Frame. Yeah, it's a new one. It's a frame for the 3 card pull. Sometimes you used to do a 3 card pull. Sometimes not. Bye, Jeebus. Jeebus is bored by tarot. Oh no, don't bore Jeebus. Number 2. Or number 3. Ugh.
Okay. I'm freaking out. I don't know my lips. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. 4th one. Cow. All right, let's see what we got. For your frame. Who is this again? Luis Tizon. Your frame. Death. Remember, it doesn't mean you're going to die, okay? It just means So something's gonna die. Like one of your plans, one of your dreams, one of your hopes, one of your misguided jaunts, even. It could be the death of something that's not good. However, in this case, probably a death of some of your dollar bills, because we're looking at some poverty in your week up to coming here. Luis is on some poverty. However, don't worry. It's always darkest before the dawn, because then you're going to get some new money. Opportunity, a gig. The Ace of Pentacles. Then finally, it's time to do something with those resources. Time to make your way in the world. Time to end some shit, cut it loose, kill it dead, bury it in the sand. That's why the theme for you this week is death. Cleave from you the useless baggage in your life so that you can transform poverty into the Ace of Pentacles and become a powerful magician. All right. Who's next? Who's next to have the tarot speak the truths?
Tarot.
The truths of wisdom to them. Jeremiah Fix-It, I could pull one for him. All right, Jeremiah Fix. Adrian B. Adrian B is after Jeremiah Fix, and then Ruse Moose. All right. Jeremiah Fix, frame card. Pew. Oh, good. Wow, that doesn't avoid it. That just postpones it, I'm afraid. Pew. 2. Hey, girl. You want Netflix and chill? Is that what you said? And the third one. All right, Jeremiah Fix, your frame for the week. Fertility, motherhood, harvest, bountiful, the Empress card. So remember, this doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get pregnant, Jeremiah Fix. It just means it's time to harvest something that's been growing for a while. That's the theme of the week, is harvest, okay? Now, first card up on deck here is a conflict card. It means you're going to have some strife. You're going to have some conflict, some combativeness, some difficulties, some adversarial quality interactions. But second card, ooh, looks like you are going to get betrayed or betray somebody. It could be the betrayer. You never know. It could be advising you to not do the betrayal, or else you're going to be in more trouble. But let's find out what the third card says. So, the theme is harvest, but your week begins with conflict and stress, followed by betrayal, until finally maybe you find a new plan forward, a new partnership, a new alignment, a kindred spirit with whom you can put the past behind you. Sass, huh? Isaiah Root, I want you to tell her, hey, girl, I don't take no sass. Okay? No sass unless it's from Saucy Southern Sassafras. If you ever do an Elliot Roger, make sure to target your conflictor type. What's an Elliot Roger? I don't know what that is. Who am I pulling for here? Winston's mom? Here we go. Oh, wait, no, Adrian B. That's who I was going to pull for. Adrian B. Here we go. Oh, no. Dose. Trace. Quattro. Frame for Adrian B.
There's a lot of loving going around.
A lot of loving, Adrian B. You know what that means. Hey, boy. You know you my toy. attraction, relationship, chemistry, romance, or possibly, hey girl, I don't know. This is the theme. Getting your hump on. Now, first, however, before you get your hump on, you're going to need to rest. You need to rest up because it's going to be a very wild humping that bounces all around the house. So you need a lot of energy for it. Okay. Card number 2. Dreams, emotions. It's going to trigger in you an unconscious release of your feminine moon man. Okay. Or it could possibly mean that you're going to moon somebody. Thirdly, conflict. So I got to tell you, you think that getting laid is going to be good for you. And really, you should just have stayed in bed, dreaming underneath the moonlight, because it's not going to turn out so well. You're going to be like, damn, dude, I didn't know you're such a douchebag. It's going to be like, fuck you, bitch. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Okay, who's next?
How about that?
That looks quite a bit like you, actually.
Oh no, that's my emoji.
Looks pretty much like you. Okay.
Twincest.
Twincest. Who's got twincest?
Oh,
Isaiah Bruce going out with an ENTP. Isaiah Bruce, are you an ENTP or an INTP?
Who wants to get together and smoke weed? Oh, the ENTP.
Okay.
It has. I do feel. That's good advice, Winston's mom. Candles do set the mood.
Oh, Ruse Moose. Thank you. After this is Ruse Moose. Thank you, Octavia. So, okay, Ruse Moose. Here we go. 4 cards for you, 4 cards for. Oh, I got to put this card back or else it won't be in the deck. 1 for Ruse Moose. 2 for Ruse Moose. 3 for Ruse Moose. 4 for Ruse Moose. Okay. Frame. I think this is the frame. Pretty sure. Pew. Okay, so Ruse Moose. It is time for you to get your normal on. Time to be conventional. Time to play by the rules. Go by the book. Put that extroverted intuition in a box and put it underneath your bed for the following week. It is conventionality time.
I think that's the card of Taurus.
Hierophant. Now, first card for the week after you had your frame. Ciao. Again, rest. You need to rest. That's part of the conventional structure. You're not getting enough sleep. You're staying up all night, doing drugs, and going to raves. It's not time for that.
Eat, sleep, rave, repeat. Eat, sleep, rave, repeat. Eat, sleep, rave, repeat.
My card says, will you show me your emoji again? I missed it. I just made mine.
Sure.
Healing. You need to rest, okay? You can't just rave and do drugs all the time. Next. What do you need to do? You need to be direct. You need to be worldly. You need to be concrete. Get out of your intuition. Get your head out of the clouds. You get down here and you dig a hole in the dirt. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Last card here. What do you need to do? You need to stick to the plan. You need to find somebody who's got a plan, who can kick your intuitive ass into shape and say, hey, I'm the planner. You follow me.
You know what it just reminded me of? In Animaniacs, the 2 mice. They're like, what are we going to do today, Pinky?
Right, Pinky in the brain.
Yeah, take over the whole world. It's the 2 of them, and he's holding the world in their hand. Take over the
You're
world.
right. Okay, so Good, Bruce Moose. I'm glad to hear that you're going to respect the wisdom of the tarot. Shout out to grapefruit juice.
Yeah, we finished ours already.
We're going to get more tomorrow. We're going to go to the store tomorrow.
That's the point of the store.
Yeah. The light of the camera and the phone are clashing.
I think you still saw it, though.
Yeah, it's not fine.
Yeah, pinky in the brain.
The genius was the brain.
Neptunes? They do, though. If it were to be any planet, it would be Neptune. That's great.
Okay, as ever, I am not going to tell you that there's anything wrong with drinking F and OJ. Okay. But if we could just change one of those four letters from an O to a G, then you'd really be onto something.
Yeah, the brain was just a bully. The brain was an INTJ.
Yeah, I think so too. The brain was an INTJ. Pinky.
Winston's mom. Yeah, Pinky was what?
I don't know. Is he really anything? He's kind of a...
I'm not, Brian. What are we going to do tonight? Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
ENFP, says Angantier. All right, good. I'm so glad, Isaiah Root.
Cool.
Eric, George Costanza, MBTI type. ISFJ or ESFJ, I guess?
I think he's a 6. He's extremely neurotic.
Yeah.
He's always apologizing. Begrudgingly.
And like, he gets enamored with his own one good ideas, you know. Have you guys ever traveled down Alligator Alley in Florida? No, I have not. Never been to Florida. All right, here there's a lot of alligators down there. I just heard tonight in the live stream from Winston's mom. Who gets typed as INTP? Pinky? Oh, George Costanza?
That's interesting. Well, you know, I think that Larry David is an INTP, and a lot of people think that the George Costanza character is closely related to what's his name? Larry David, but Larry David is much more introverted than George.
217. I would guess maybe ESTJs, ESFJ.
Yeah, ESFJ was my.
I mean, ESFJs tend to be 2s. That's common in ESFJs. Benjamin Bailey, your frame.
Ooh.
Hermit, withdraw, seek counsel, provide counsel. Yeah, I'll do that. Louis Suzanne. I got a lot of ideas in the mix here. I need to put a handle on them and stuff. We're gonna wrap this live stream up here pretty quick. But Benjamin, King of Pentacles. So be a hermit, withdraw. That's your main theme for the week. Now, what are you gonna be withdrawing on? What are you going to be reflecting on while you withdraw? Perhaps finances. That's King of Pentacles. Perhaps you'll be noting how important it is to take the conventional structured approach. This is a very ESTJ kind of, you know, reflect and learn to be more ESTJ. And lastly,
there's a lot of big cards tonight.
You know, once you've done that, once you've withdrawn, reflected, had some wisdoms come to you, and you've considered matters of finance, and you've considered matters of protocol, then you'll be much more powerful as a magician. What do you think your Enneagram type would be? I would guess about your Enneagram type. Isaiah Rude. It's hard to tell an Enneagram type from just communicating with people via text, but I would guess you are. I don't know. It's hard to say for an Enneagram.
It is.
Really hard to say. I think you got 5, 4, and 9. Possible. ENFJ. ENFJ might be 217. Yeah, ENFJ I think is a better answer. J4YN 1CK5 than ESFJ for the 7. I think the 7 is more likely to occur in an ENFJ than an ESFJ.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else want a last poll before I call it live stream? It's been 2 hours. And I'm not sure what Rachel and I are going to do. She seems to be yawning a little bit.
I am feisty.
Who are 5, 6, and 6, 5? Stop making facial expressions that match my SI of my ex-wife.
Who, me?
Me or Rachel? I am pulling for Winston's mom. Oh, I didn't pull for her yet? Okay, Winston's mom. Here we go. Piao.
Oh.
Piao.
SI wife. I don't know.
They match his SI of his ex-wife. It means his memories of his ex-wife.
Oh,
She was
an
an
INFJ. Sorry, man.
What caused you guys to break up? What should I avoid doing?
Are you is he an ENTP?
I don't know. I'm just curious what caused them to break up.
I don't know many that do.
All right, Winston's mom. This is the frame. Heartache is the frame. Now, look. Oh. So what caused you to break up? I'm curious. The thing to remember about this one, Winston's mom, is it can be interpreted as disruption by excessive inclusion. So you'll note that there are 3 swords in the heart because 2 is a number of not heartbreak, but 3 involves one too many people, right? But this is true of a lot of things in life, not just relationships. There's too many cooks spoil the kitchen is the rule here for the week. The friend. Now your first card is this, the star card. This means that you're feeling inspired by your inherent diva-ness. That could be a good thing. Sometimes it could be a bad thing. I doubt she craved your FE. She craved SE is what she craved. She wasn't getting any from you. Well, I'm sure you countervalue NI.
That's interesting. I've only had 2 INFP friends. It's very interesting.
This here is the second card for you, Winston's mom, which means it's an artistic card. It's a card of romance and a card of riding a horse with a cup.
Flirty.
So, your diva nature, right, leads to a little flirtiness. Perhaps with somebody younger. Now, if you don't curtail yourself or manage the circumstance properly, well, remember, this is the frame. Doesn't mean that you're going to be heartbroken or cause heartbreak. It means it's the theme or the frame.
Yeah, somebody younger. And then if you meet someone younger, make sure that they're not taken, because it could be that third party situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually the 3 of swords. A lot of times people say when it's in the heart with the 3, it's like a realization that in whatever relationship that you're in that holds your heart, that the mind, body, and spirit are the things that are in not an alignment. And that's why it hurts your heart. Because all the things in your mind that you're thinking are great, you're thinking, because it's air, swords are air. So you're thinking yeah, like I'm really like my heart is with this person. Why do I feel like this? And it's a conflict.
J4YN1CK5. Frame. J4YN1CK5.
Eric Roberts is out. Is it changing?
Yeah, it's a frame card. Frame for the coming week. It's a Thursday to Wednesday thing, but it could be reset by another reading
I want
in
to
the
see
interim.
who won this.
I am curious. J4NY 1CK5. All right, here's your frame. Yeah. Open-heartedness, fun, bliss, flying around in the clouds. Just, dipsy-doos. It's a week of dipsy-doos for you, J4 and J4Y and 1CK5.
Oh, wow.
Card number 1. You. This is you, my friend. You are an INFP. What does this mean? You are a child of spirit.
That is the perfect card for...
And it's saying, listen, all you got to do to have this joy, this feel of joy and heart, bliss and fun in your heart, be yourself. Use your intuition. Second card. Another intuition card. You're intuitioning up quite an intuition. So now, J4YN1CK5, this is the High Priestess card, which means you need to find your inner woman. Okay? Find your inner woman, and you need to gently stroke her until her intuition reaches climax. Okay? Third card. Ooh, prioritize. So, no, this is the infinity guy. This is the infinity of self-maintenance. Okay? You got to stay on top of your self-maintenance. You got to pay those bills. You got to juggle those pentacles. You got to, step out of the water and onto the land.
Boobies and all.
Yeah. However, it looks like a good week for you, J4.
Yeah.
YN1CK5.
Yeah.
I know it's hard. It requires a little bit of SE, and you don't really got none. I want you to just remember.
That's a great question.
Next time you need SE, do it and know that when you're done with it, you're going to come here and you're going to report back to me. You're going to say, I, J4, YN1CK5, Eric, have done something, and I want you to praise me for it. And I'll say, great job, J4YN1CK5. Good job doing it before coming to the live stream to tell me about it, rather than telling me you're going to do something in the live stream, and then you're never going to do it. Just go out and do it. Save the surprise for me. Natalie Litkid. Hey, will I get a boyfriend? And if I do, will the relationship be great? Let's find out what's going on with Natalie Litkid's love life. Frame. One. Two.
The Nationals won.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that.
Good job, Nationals, beating the Astros. 3. All right. Natalie Litkid. Here is your frame. Dreams, moon, escapism. I suspect you may spend the coming week at least fantasizing about having a boyfriend. Second card. Ooh. First card is marriage. The marriage card. Now, what this says is you're not just seeking a little humpty. You're seeking somebody you can really bond with deep down inside. Somebody you might want someday to put little children in your side of your womb. Okay? Now, second card. Arrival, success. These are your dreams, right? This is the frame. Your dreams. You're dreaming of marriage. You're dreaming of success and arrival. Of ambition. Let's see what the third card says. But in order to make these dreams come true, you're going to have to be practical. You're going to have to be reliable. You're going to have to ask yourself, Do I need a boyfriend or a job?
Right. Exactly. Especially if you're young.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be that it doesn't mean marriage. It can mean an emotionally fulfilled relationship because it's the 10 of Cups, the end of that group.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you have an emotionally fulfilling relationship with somebody, be they a boyfriend or a friend or some mentor type person or something, then that can be something that produces the happy bliss of harmonious cooperation.
right, exactly. It says family in there, so it could be someone that you could be daydreaming about, a relationship where you also get along with their family and you feel happy. But you might have to, prioritize things before that happens.
All right, Angantar needs to have his last bad reading washed away by a good reading.
Okay, that's fair.
So I'm going to assume that the tarot understands when you've been suffering under the weight of a bad reading.
Yeah.
You're due. You do some good cards. Let's hope the tarot delivers. I pulled out some
bad cards for myself this morning. So.
Really? Did you have a bad day?
No. We pulled ones for our frame though, and they were different. But I pulled the conflict card. Oh well.
We haven't really had a lot of. Well, we had some conflict. Oh, I have the C.S. Joseph shit today.
True.
That's been a little bit conflicty.
Daydream believer. And
all right. Who am I pulling this for again? Angantyr. Angantyr is your friend. Ooh, Ace of Pentacles. New money increase. You get a big pentacle. First card. Sun card.
So, yep, you got the most positive card, one of the most positive cards in the deck. So that alone erases all the cards from before.
It's a good one. You get to be the naked baby in the sunshine right now. Just being like, look at me. I don't need to wear any clothes. Mm-hmm. Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm riding a horse bareback. Who's going to get me down? It doesn't matter.
Right, because why? Not only are you the sun, but you a gambling son. Spin that wheel. I'm on a horse. I'll ride away if something bad happens.
It's true.
And the third card.
Hey, man, we erased those cards completely.
Wow. So it looks like after you spin that wheel, what happens? A lady named Changantyria, who's your soulmate, shows up.
Eric thought that I pulled, when I did my original pulling with Eric a month ago, I pulled the Two of Rods, but he thought that it was the Two of Cups.
I kept saying after the fact, like, well, earlier you pulled the Two of Cups. And she said, no, I didn't. I didn't know what the Two of Cups was. The Two of Cups was the soulmate's card.
And he was calling it even before we knew.
Oh, poor INFPs.
I think they make good music.
Yeah, but they, like he says, they don't ever get around to doing it. How sad. You just gotta, addy up and just start thwacking out on something.
Who is an INFP artist that gets stuff done? Yeah.
I mean, I can think of actors and actresses. INFPs often, if they get into art or something where they actually work, it's because it's in something where there's TE built in, like acting, where you get a schedule, you got to go, and you got a director telling you what to do, and you got to whatever,
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. Thanks everybody for being here. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese, and good night.